Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. You know, one of the things that annoyed me about this scene between Liz and Lucky, and this may just be me, is that throughout this conversation, it gives me the sense that Lucky is trying to make is giving me this sense that it's like Liz is not responsible for making you feel better about your selfish ass decision to leave Port Charles because you're restless and let's be honest, you just don't want to be a dad. It's not her job to make you feel better about your decision. You don't even know what you want to do at this point. You are a grown ass man with a child. And you're like, well, I don't want to sit there and give Aiden any sort of false illusions or anything. Well, why don't you just sit there and say what you really mean to say? Because that sounds nice on paper, but in reality, in your heart, you're just like, I don't really want to be a dad. I'd rather just, go out and do something else that, I don't want to be a dad. That's pretty much what you want to sit there and say without saying it. So they see Lucas, and they go to Lucas, and, Lucas is still feeling bad about, what Danny said and him blaming himself and everything like that. And, they sit there and tell him, like, hey, you know what, listen, he's a kid, he's lashing out, and he doesn't mean it. He's just, he's just going through it. So they're talking a little bit, and Lucas gets a call from Portia. Goes down there, and Portia's like, "You didn't cause Sam's death." But here's the thing: what caused Sam's death? So at some point, Lucas calls Lucky. Now, long story short, Jack goes there, and Jack is like, "All right, so you're gonna sit there and work for the WSB, or like, what are you gonna do?" And he's still flip flopping back and forth. He's not giving the answer one way or the other. And he gets a call from Lucas, and basically he's like, "Yeah, you might want to sit there and check on Liz, because yeah, I found out that I wasn't the person that caused the death, but Liz might be in some trouble." So at some point, Liz sees Lucas, and Lucas is like, yeah, I'm not, I got called in. I'm not responsible. I didn't do anything wrong on my end. As he's about to sit there and start to fill her in, Portia is like, I want to sit there and see my office, since Portia also texted her. So she gets in there, and long story short, there was some sort of drug that was given to Sam that caused her heart attack. But Liz is like, yeah, I don't remember I don't remember that being subscribed to her. Now at this point, since it was Liz's nurses and her team and stuff like that, Portia's like, we're gonna have to sit there and go through each and every single person, and basically sit there saying that, you should probably get your rep, your union rep on this. So it seems like the blame is being pushed on Liz at this point. Alexis and Molly. Alexis is looking for Sam's last will. They get to talking about Molly being called as a witness for Rick as a character witness, and most likely is to testify against Chrissy, her behavior and everything like that. And Alexis starts asking questions like, "Are you sure you want to do that? You and Chrissy just got to a good place. Do you really want to sit there and testify and kind of undo all that progress?" And I'm like, "But she was subpoenaed. You know what I'm saying? Like she doesn't have a choice. She has to do it. So I don't understand why she's not just saying, 'Are you sure you want to do this?' Like there's a choice in the matter." And I'm like, "Alexis, you're a lawyer. You know this. Like Why are you asking her such a dumbass question for? They also talk about Rick, and Molly Smith is saying that Rick is Smith, they're trying to do me a favor because, if it's proven that it was an accident, then I can sit there and somehow move on. They get to talking, and she finds the will. And in this will, I'm not going to lie, I'm just going to bluntly say it. I feel like this will is kind of fucking over Sam even from the grave. Because in this will, she basically wants Drew to be the sole guardian of Scout, which is his daughter, and Danny, which is not his son. And Molly is like, yeah, I don't know if Jason's going to sit there and go for that. Now, I'm going to sit there and say, I'm going to start by sitting there saying, is that I understand that Alexis is grieving. I understand that a parent's worst nightmare is to outlive their child. Okay? So I get that. I want to start by saying I get that. I understand that she wants to sit there, and granted, the reason is because she doesn't want the boy, she doesn't want them separated. But I still have problems with the way she's going about it because I understand that Jason lives a very dangerous life. I get that. When she's so adamant about making sure that that will stays in place, I have problems with that because you are literally ignoring and acting like Jason as a father doesn't have rights. And I have a huge fucking problem with that. I really do. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not happy with Jason either. Because as Danny pointed out when he um, was talking to Jason, he knew that Jason had something to do with Drew's face and how it's affecting Scout and it's making her afraid. And also for the fact that he could have been arrested, he could have went to jail. And Smith is saying, your actions didn't just affect you, it affected us. Why is a teenager sitting there telling you just how wrong you messed up? Because you were in your feelings. And you didn't sit there and bother to think about the kids that was there, that could be affected. Yeah, that's right, Danny. Your dad beat up your uncle. And I know people sitting there telling me the reason why and how Drew deserved it and blah, 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 blah. I don't give two flying fucks. Because at the end of the day, it was a very selfish decision. And yeah, Jason was like, listen, your mom will be proud of you for sitting there challenging me and everything. In reality, you got lectured by a teenager. Let's all sit there and think about that for a minute. Um, what else? So, I guess I might have forgot this part, and maybe it happened yesterday and I don't even remember. But Lulu wakes up. The new Lulu wakes up, debuts her first episode. They do a little flashback of the last time that she talked to Cyrus, because when she wakes up, she hears Cyrus. Thinks about the last time that Cyrus threatened her. So when Cyrus gets in there, she plays like she's asleep. The doctors want to inform the family that she's doing so well. And Cyrus is like, we just gotta sit there and manage their expectations and stuff like that. And she's sitting there thinking all this, and I guess she just thinks that like he's gonna do something. So after she wakes up and realizes that something, she want to give some sort of surgery, she tries to get up. Now, granted, she's been in this bed for like 10 something years, so it's not exactly an easy thing to do on top of the fact that she just had surgery. So of course she tries to stand and she falls, and she gets herself back up and everything. Now I am interested to sit there and see this new take on Lulu. Lulu has not exactly been my favorite character. She's never been a character I dislike. She's always just been a character. I know that the actresses on All My Children played a character named Babe. That's pretty much about it. She does look a little bit like Julia. I imagine if Julia got a little older, she does look a little bit like her. But I guess we'll have to sit there and wait and see how this turns out. Danny also feels bad for lashing out at Lucas, knowing how much Sam, knowing how much he meant to Sam and everything. And let's be honest, it was wrong for everything that he said. And I understand that he's a kid and he's grieving and blah 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 blah. I don't give a shit. It was wrong. But at least he acknowledged it. His next step is to sit there and try to fix it. We can all make mistakes. It's what you do next that matters. Um oh, almost forgot about Chrissy and Dante blaming himself again for Sam's death and pushing her on a subconscious level to sit there and help out them, save Lulu. And it just, on one hand, I get it. I get grief. I get regret. I get all of that. I think part of me just kind of tuned out a little bit because he's been blaming himself for a while. And I understand that episodes go very slowly, so maybe like 2 or 3 days that he's still doing this. But for me, it felt like it's been 10 to 2 weeks. It felt like it's been 2 weeks or longer. So part of me is like, okay. Oh yeah, no, Dante, now he's blaming himself again. That's pretty much how I feel. I get it, and he definitely needs some therapy. But I think after hearing about the 10th, 12th, 20 something time, kind of starting to tune out a little bit. Just saying. Um, yeah, I think Christina talked about Rick and getting justice and everything like that, and Ava and everything. So I guess that's going to start maybe tomorrow, the day after, who knows. But at least we can start to kind of move forward a little bit from the whole Sam stuff. I mean, it's something. Just saying. Anyway, I feel like that's about it. I can't think of anything else. If I miss anything, write in the comment section below. Or come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. I will be sitting there talking about all the shows, General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Bold and Beautiful, and Young and Restless, and Jordan and her campy 1960s version of a villain acting, which yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Okay, I'm just gonna sit there and wait for 10 seconds because I'm not leaving this on 13. And yes, I am somewhat superstitious. So. Alright, I'll see you in the next video or hopefully live stream.